It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Would you be my neighbor? Won't you please, please, won't you be my neighbor? Hello, neighbor. Have you ever thought about what a neighbor is? Well, I am now. Maybe some of you know what a neighbor is, but haven't put the thought in, how do I be a neighbor? In fact, someone asked Jesus that very same question. So I have a story I'd like to tell you about. It's actually about a story within a story, and it goes like this. When Jesus lived on earth, he often told us stories to teach us things. These stories that taught lessons were called parables. One day, Jesus told a parable about a good guy from a place called Samaria, a good Samaritan, to a group of Jewish people. It all started when a Jewish expert in the law asked Jesus, "What must I do to receive eternal life?" In a way, he was trying to ask, what do I have to do to be perfect? Since this guy was an expert in the law, he thought he already knew how to be perfect just because he knew all the rules. He really just wanted to see what Jesus would say. Of course, Jesus knew what the man was thinking, so he asked him, "What is written in the law?" The man said, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. Love him with all your strength and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as you love yourself." So he asked Jesus, "Who is my neighbor?" Jesus answered by telling him this story. A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was suddenly attacked by robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and fled the scene, leaving him barely alive. As he laid there from the robbery, a priest happened to be going down the same road. But when he saw the man, he passed on by the other side. Now, you might think a priest who serves God would help and serve others in need, but he didn't stop. He just went along his way. Then Jesus said a Levite came to the place and saw him, but he passed on by the other side as well. Levites were assistants to priests, so maybe you'd expect them to help too, but he didn't stop either. Finally, Jesus said a Samaritan came along. A Samaritan is a person from Samaria. That's near Israel, where God's family, the Jews, lived. But here's the thing, Jews and Samaritans didn't get along. In fact, nobody hearing the story would ever expect a Samaritan to help because Samaritans and Jews couldn't stand each other. But Jesus said when the Samaritan saw the man, he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds. Then he put the man on his own donkey, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day, he took out money, gave it to the innkeeper, and said to look after him. He even told the innkeeper, "When I return, I will pay you back for any extra expense you have." Now, fellow neighbors, which of these three people do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of the robbers? The expert in the law in front of Jesus didn't even want to say the word Samaritan, but he admitted, the one who had mercy on him. Jesus told him, "Go and do likewise." In other words, go and love everyone, even people we don't like or people who everybody else wants to avoid. See, when we show love, we're obeying Jesus. Obeying God doesn't mean just doing what his rules say. It means loving him more and than anything and showing his love to every single person that we meet. And I hope hearing about being a good neighbor inspires you to be good neighbors among one another. And I guess I'll see you soon too, neighbors.